So the world has its first trillionaire, and now everyone seems to need to be debating about it. So we're going to come back around and look at it again ourselves because there are many things with this whole subject that can greatly affect us and how we work in our day to day, and it will affect you in the trajectory of your career and how successful you end up becoming. So we're going to look at all that and more today on the Daily Dance.
Welcome to the Daily Dance with your host, Brad Richardson.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Dance. I'm going to be checking things here occasionally because we're having problems with the live stream on LinkedIn again, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that going or not. So we are just getting everything going for those of you on the other platforms, and then I will repost this when we're done onto LinkedIn. So I apologize to anyone who was looking to tune in on LinkedIn for the live stream, though I'll be honest, I haven't looked in to see how many actually participate in the live stream versus the recorded videos, so it may not make a difference. Who knows? But welcome again. It is a Monday. Oh my gosh, is it a Monday? It's Monday, June 15th, and this is a late edition of the Daily Dance coming to you. And I'm so glad if you have taken the time to tune in and find us and see what's going on with the Daily Dance. We're revisiting a subject, partially revisiting from what we discussed on Friday, and pulling out part of that subject again because Friday we had SpaceX Day because of the initial public offering for SpaceX, and then today we're going to go back and look at so much of the debate that has sprung up over that IPO and over Elon Musk now being a trillionaire. And it just seems like everybody is almost required to have an opinion about that. And online people have been getting salty about it. And frankly, a lot of the opinions are disappointing to me, but maybe not for all the reasons that everybody thinks of or maybe even realizes initially. So anyway, we're going to get into that. This is the Daily Dance. Try to give you a daily dose of encouragement and help you skill up and add tools to your toolkit that will enable you to be more successful in business and in life. And we do that through various different ways. The main thing that we do every day, very simple but also effective, is the Daily Dance. The rule of the Daily Dance is that you do a little dance every day before you head out of the house or before you start your work day. But of course, we do a daily dance here together as well. And it's just to give you a checkup from the neck up. It's to help you get in a good mindset, not take yourself too seriously, and to get in a little bit better mood maybe as you tackle life's challenges. So having said that, let's go ahead and do our daily dance. All right, and there we go. So let's dive in, shall we? Trillionaires, billionaires, and you. And I'm going to assume if you're watching my show, you are probably not a billionaire. It's a pretty safe bet. Unless Elon actually tunes into this, then you're not a trillionaire. Uh, and I'm not expecting him to, though. If you do, Elon, hi, and thanks for tuning in. Um, but we're going to focus on the you in relation to the trillionaires and billionaires, and really the theme is just that uh, for most of us, we end up working for people who are more financially successful than us. That's why most people, at least part of their reason, is that they go into businesses for what they can earn from it. They take greater risk. They have to put more of themselves into it. It's very hard to be an entrepreneur. But then, hopefully, if you succeed, you end up being rewarded much more than just someone who worked at a company for 20, 30, or 40 years, as noble as that is. It's the risk plus the ingenuity and the work that all goes into that puts someone into these higher categories of earning. But so if you're working for someone, you are helping to make them successful. And you need to be at peace with that. And I put it that way because this is something I had to walk through. It's easy when you're younger. If you're poor, maybe things aren't going your way. And it can be easy to look to those that you're working for and see, right? It seems like an imbalance. It seems unfair. And those things can exist, and I'm gonna break that part down too, because yes, there are things in here on the Daily Dance that we focus on, ways that we want to do business well, and that I hope we want to encourage leaders to do things a certain way, because I am not a fan of people who just take advantage of other people, right, and just use people as tools, as things, who strip the humanity out of the equation. That's not what we're about here. So we'll look at that part too, because we need to separate that out from there are loads of other people, entrepreneurs that had an idea, they took the risk, they worked hard, they're reaping the rewards, and now you work for them. And it can feel like maybe in our minds we always want to think, I want to say always, a lot of the time we think our contribution is far more valuable and important than it is. Not always, but a lot of the time. And sometimes it's just the frustration of life. Money might be tight. I know what it's like to be genuinely poor. And when money's tight, the pressure does come, and it does make you want to look at those around you. Sometimes you start to compare. You start to wonder why is it so easy for them and not for us? And long story short, we don't know people's full story, do we? We just don't. So we're going to break all of this down, because how we frame all of this in our minds, how you frame this in your mind, is going to greatly determine what kind of cap you put on yourself. I want to convince you. I want to show you. I want to submit it to you that when you develop this a framework in your mind of certain things are good, certain things are bad, as you start moving toward things, if you have something inside you that is convinced that it's bad, you're going to self-sabotage as you do things that move in that direction. It'll make more sense as we discuss it. But as we dive in, let's start with just that it's not about the money. Okay, it's not about the money. It's not about how much trillionaires, billionaires, millionaires, whatever. If there are people who have substantially more financial resources than you do, you always have the potential to feel that things are unfair, uneven. It's easy to get distracted and look at people who have that wealth or appear like they have that wealth. And believe me, there are a lot of people who just put up the show to look like they're that wealthy when they're drowning in debt. You don't know. And that's why the long and the short of this topic is just that you need to be able to put blinders on and not pay attention to what others are doing in this regard. We need to develop the habit of helping others to succeed. whether it's our teammates, whether it's our direct reports, or our bosses. Our success is tied to their success. You're working somewhere, your success is tied to the success of the person you're working for. I mean, it should be obvious, but here's the problem. Here's where it gets sticky, because if you, in your mind, in our minds, if all of a sudden someone who is, in our perception, if they're rich and we think that that's bad, then we are going to be hindered just internally. We're going to have an internal battle to be able to give our best. We're going to be creating friction that we have to fight through to give our best and do our best. And that doesn't just hurt the business, that hurts us then. That's the self-sabotage. And then this strange thing can also happen then if you start to succeed financially. You get in a groove, you get in a place where you start to succeed, but you still have in your mind that that type of success, that anyone who attains any significant wealth, somehow that's bad and it's wrong. Having that kind of success is wrong. You are going to start to self-sabotage at that moment too. And you may then start to wonder why. In years go by, and you'll start to look back and go, why did this project go sideways? How come I didn't get any further at that? I know I was talented. I thought felt like I was working hard, and yet I didn't get any further. And a lot of times it's because there was a part of you that if you don't respect people who succeed, if you don't celebrate others' success, not just your teammates, but your bosses and your owners and everybody, if you can't celebrate someone's success at that level, if you start to attain to that level, then you are going to be conflicted internally. You are going to have to be fighting against yourself to succeed. Okay. And that's just too bad, because not in saying it's not about the money. Money also just isn't what we think it is either. And it should just be viewed. It's a raw material. It's a resource that you can use for good. You can use it for charity. You can use it to build other businesses and to build things. Use it for provision for your family. It's a raw material. It's a tool. And it's we need to stop thinking in these terms, and in these, as though there's classes of people. It's just people that have had a dream, had something that they went after, and attained it through risk and hard work. And now there are those, and here we're going to get back to some of the objections, because there are those within, right, large corporate structures. There are people who can get to executive positions or CEOs, not founders, managers, that can end up, and I do believe, end up in situations where they just organize everything to benefit themselves, and they're not really looking to further the business per se. At least they're not looking to further any more than just to their own benefit. They don't have any higher guiding principles, and there are those then that will cheat and lie and steal to maintain those positions or get in those positions. Okay, those are not the people I'm talking about. If you're in a situation and you're dealing with people like that, yes, I'm sorry, but I don't wish those people success, at least not unless they change. We don't want people like that to succeed. I do have a problem with people accumulating wealth by nefarious means. Okay, and that happens in politics, and it happens in business, and it happens in communities. Okay, and I'm just going to let you all fill in the gaps, whoever you think the bad guy's in, whatever. I just want you to know that yes, I see that, I understand that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, boy, we want those guys to succeed. However, if for a season you end up working for someone who maybe you feel, they're not the best leader, maybe they are making decisions that are questionable and things that make you not respect them as much, it's still better then, isn't it, to put that out of your mind You can log it, and maybe, yeah, I need to go find somewhere else to work, and you put that plan in motion, do something about it. But for you, you still need to put that out of your mind as well, because not only is it not about the money, it's not about all these things about how people are getting their money. Nothing that you do is going to change that anyway, probably. And the best thing that you can do is, again, focus down on what you can do well, what you can do to change the culture that you work in, so that a lot of the ideals and a lot of the principles that we'd like to teach here and like to advocate here, to try to get those permeating through the organization that you're in. You can help your team, you can help other departments that you work with, and maybe that's the extent of it. So again, even in those scenarios, I don't see benefit coming from us getting so obsessed with what the wealthy are doing and how they got what they got. What we can do is we can stay focused on the right things and understand that you can succeed well. You can succeed with good motives and good goals, and that success and wealth in and of itself is not evil. Okay, we've got to get that out of our heads, and then we can succeed. Hopefully, then we if we believe there's a better way, then do it. We can do it. We can start the business, right? We can take the risk. We can come up with the idea, and that's important to do. And yes, I'm focusing on that because I do think Elon Musk gets a bad rap from so many people because of all the people to pick on and to have a problem with, having on paper, and it is just on paper, and I hope everybody watching this understands that it's just on paper. It's stock in companies he owns. It's he just has started amazing companies, retains enough of a share so that the value that's assigned to him is this astronomical number, but it's all about what he's building. And he's an entrepreneur. He's putting a huge percentage back into the businesses because he wants to continue to build. And those are the kind of people you want to root for. You just do. There are other people who, yes, attain wealth through other means that I'm not so much a fan of, and some I'm directly opposed to. And those are the people that, if you want to take issue, pick out some politicians who are suddenly worth a bunch of money, and you don't know how they worked for it. To try to connect the dots and see how they suddenly became worth that much in public office. That's a concern. There are CEOs that have outrageous compensation packages for the value that they're bringing to their companies. I mean, you might want to look at some of those. There are people that I think some criticism is justified, but usually founders, and especially Elon in this case, they're building something huge and amazing and benefiting thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. In doing so, you don't get caught up in this groupthink that's going on. In the context of our show, for at least the very, very simple reason that it doesn't do any good. It's going to derail you. It's going to sidetrack you from growing in your own career and having a mindset towards succeeding, towards growth. And because you do want to succeed, you're going to be working your whole life at something. Why not be a massive success? And why not do it right? Okay. So it's not about the money. And then also focus on value. Let's focus on value instead of the money. What kind of value are people bringing into situations? And this is important whether we're talking about companies or leaders or even ourselves. Always be thinking about value. If you bring adequate value to a situation and you consistently do that, eventually the monetary rewards are going to catch up. unless you're working in a really bad place. And like I talked about before, be ready to jump, be ready to move, take control of your own career. You can do that. You can do something about it. But focus on value. It's on giving, serving, building, and bringing something of value every day, the best you can do, and do it as consistently as you can, and see where you end up. So don't get distracted by looking at how are other people doing. Forget about that. You focus on bringing value every day. You focus on bringing the right attitude and the right things into the workplace, and and uh, and watch your career grow, and understand that success and that growth, uh, especially when you're doing things the right way, those types of victories lift everyone around you, and it's a statement too. Every time that we do things the right way, we don't take the shortcuts, we don't cheat, we do invest ourselves into what we're doing. When you succeed that way, you change things. You change the atmosphere. You change your business community. You change everything. That's why we want the good guys to finish first. That's why we want the good guys to finish first. Because yes, you can get ahead, at least temporarily, by bending the rules, by breaking the rules, all these things. If you succeed when doing things the right way, loads of people benefit. But that is why also I will defend people who, as far as I can tell, have done things the right way, and then take unfair criticism. I am gonna point that out. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna defend them to the best of my ability, because we need good guys. We need good guys to finish first. That's how things change. Not the loudest person, and not the most charismatic necessarily, but people with the best ideas that they can win. People with good character, that they succeed. That's what we want, and that's what changes things, and that's what moves the needle. So focus on value, and then you know what? You do you. Again, repeated theme throughout this. I know, but get your eyes off everybody else. Do your thing. Knuckle down and do your thing. There's loads of things wrong in the world. We're not going to change them all. We're not going to correct all the ills of the world. But you can choose to do things right. You can choose to do things well. Again, you feel like some of these things coming up in the news, people are doing business in a way that you don't agree with. Show us how to do it better. How would you do it? You take the risk. You start the business. You do your thing, and you show the world how it's done. Then, if you think you have a better way. But don't waste energy just trying to cut other people down, and don't let yourself fall into the mentality of that somehow success is evil or bad. We want people to succeed. Have heroes. Let them inspire you. Become a hero for others and inspire them, and let it perpetuate. And generation after generation, that's how we get to crazy places like we are now. Even people like Elon Musk is only where he's at, building upon the shoulders of those who came before. And he's brilliant. He's a genius, and I'm a fan of his. But just like with everybody else, all of us, we build on the foundation of those that came before us. And you can do the same thing. So you do you. You do you. And I want to clarify too, before we get off of this too far, just about Elon, because if you've watched and read some of the things where I comment, people could get a little confused. And I want to be clear, as I said before, that I am a fan of what he's doing. My criticisms of things going on with SpaceX aren't even so much criticisms. They're just, I have valid questions that I think remain unanswered. But I would never, ever bet against someone like Elon Musk, because I see the drive and the dedication and the fact that he's driven by something other than just money, that he does have ideals beyond money, that he is a builder, that's in him, and he people like that must build. They must build, and that's a good thing. We need builders. We need people who build things. So I don't want anyone to ever take anytime if you see me critiquing uh, different strategies with SpaceX or even Tesla. It's not because I don't believe in those companies. I do, and again, I am a fan, and I do believe they will succeed. But on the technical side of things, sometimes I have questions. I look at there seems like there's a gap here, and I think. But I also know when I'm saying I see this gap, I also know if anybody's going to be able to figure out how to bridge it, it's probably Elon Musk, right? So that's what's happening with that. So I want to clear that up just because, again, I do root and want to root for the people who are doing business well, who are building amazing things. We want to promote and applaud excellence. So let's be careful about criticizing the wrong things. You don't have to like it. You can see, the fact that, man, I just don't like the way that the world is the way it is. Sometimes that's what we're complaining about, is just that I don't like the fact that the world, the way that it is. You do have some people who seem to have so much and other people seem to have so little. You have the imbalance there. But I think that will always be there to some extent. We can try to minimize it. I would argue that the best way to minimize that is to go out and make $1 billion yourself. Go out and you apply your unique talents and gifts and everything that you are. You be wildly successful and lift a bunch of people with you as you succeed, and see where we end up in the world if we all had a mindset like that. I think we would get much further down the road. So you do you. So it's not about the money. We're going to focus on value, not cash, not the money. And you do you. You bring your own unique gifts. So homework for all this then. It's an interesting topic. So what kind of homework for this? Well, formulate your own unique value proposition. What unique gifts and talents do you bring? What kind of business could you start? What kind of business could you start? Is there something that that there's a gap, there's a need in society, something someone isn't doing or they're not doing well enough? I think you'll find for a lot of us, if you really sit down and try to think of it, we all get some ideas from time to time, but to really think of an executable idea, something that society would place high value on when it's done, it's hard to come up with those types of things, and even harder still to implement it and to build that business. So even if you don't do it, I think it's a good exercise to formulate your own unique value proposition. What could you uniquely bring and birth into the world that would be a benefit to others, that they would pay money for? And that could be a business for you, or a side business, or some kind of new career. So that's the homework. Formulate your unique value proposition. Okay. So that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Remember that you can find us on Rumble and YouTube and X, and usually on LinkedIn. And on Locals, we would love for more people to find us on Locals and become part of the community there, so that we can build a community and encourage one another and have good discussions around these topics that will move us forward together. We would love to see you there. So thanks again for tuning in. Hope this has added something to your day, at least given you something good to think about. And we will be talking to you soon. Until then, please remember to keep on dancing. Have a good night.